Welcome to the Rebels Vita Workshop tutorial series, part 4. In this part we will tackle alternate costumes for your character, so alt palettes, specifically how to make them and, well, how to handle your character colors. Let's do a first example. So, before we delve any deeper, it is important that you know the difference between RGB and HSV. These are two color systems used by computer. One is for machines, the other is for humans. The computer mainly uses these because the LEDs that make the screen use RGB for light. And these are basically factors of red, green, and blue in the color that get mixed together and allow you to create a final color based on the mix. However, this system is not very human, so what we devise instead is HSV, hue, saturation, and value. Hue is just the hue, which color of the rainbow the color is. The value is how much light it has, and the saturation is how saturated the color is, so how much it tends to the value that value points to. So, Rivals alt palettes work with HSV, and I'll get to that in a moment. But first, we'll need to explain how alt colors work. And to do that, we'll use this website right here, which is used to generate the code that makes the alt colors. That code sits in this script right here, colors.gml. If you grab any template, then you will be able to just copy this over, and we'll have the color values already set up for you. Tester in this case is a bit wonky because of the fact that these are set up manually. But basically, how it works is that Rivals has a default amount of 8 color groups. Let me actually get someone else, like V1, and maybe I'll get into details about color mapping as well. So, and let me grab the V1 portrait. So, this is V1, character I'm working on. V1 has all 8 color slots occupied. The color slots each have a main color and the shades of said color. The way it works is that Rivals takes the main color and then creates a range of HSV using these colors here. And this range is what it will tell Rivals which pixels of the sprite to recolor. In the case of V1, we already have the thing split up in colors and the alts. So like once you have actually, let me switch back to tester. But instead of using the base, we'll just reboot the site and use maybe F-strong since it has also the other colors. So what you want to do is once you open up the sprite, you define how many color groups you need. Tester only uses 4, but we can define up to 8 depending on what you need. So what you do is first of all pick the main color, which in this case will be the white used for the body, and we'll call this color row white. Then, like tester, we'll do one extra color slot for the shade of the white. Instead of putting it here as range, we want to have more control over it, so we gave it another full slot. This is not optimal if your character has a lot of colors, but tester only has 4, so we can do this, no problem. This method is called Liz shading, because a character named Liz does this. She only has 8 colors, including shades, so she just put the 8 colors in here, and that allows her to do the shading manually instead of letting it be handled automatically by Rivals. Then we'll do one for the face, which is red, and one for the energy. There are a couple of things that you need to keep in mind when spriting the character and choosing the color palette for the character. Any color that has an RGB value of less or equal than 25, 25, 25. So let's say the color that's 5, 5, 5. You can't have this color on the character because it will automatically get turned into the outline, which is pure black. What you want instead, if you want a dark tone that you can also change dynamically, is you do what Tester does and put it on a separate slot and color it differently, in this case red. This is called color mapping. So right now you can see that the red of the face is mapped to here, even though it is meant to be black in-game. Let's assign the main colors so that when we change alts, it will actually display the color changes. There we go. So let's create an alt for testing. So maybe we'll give it, no, let's do a flat per blue. And then I'll just copy it over and give it some shade. Maybe even some hue shifting so that it looks better. Then we'll make the face black. And the energy is going to be this blue right here. So now we copy this and paste it here. And if we reload tester, he should have the alts we defined. Now, one important thing about color mapping. You can see on the base alt, the face is still red, but we want it to be black. So in this case, we can just go to init shader, and this structure tester already has it. Otherwise, you just copy this over. It's important that you copy it as is, and do if alt cur equals 0, which is the base alt. Then you simply do set color character color slot. On the slot, this is slot 0, 1, 2. So on slot 2, which is the face, then we just give it black. Now we go in update and we put this here and also in CSS draw, though yeah, it's already called in here. So if you reload, you can see now that tester's face is colored correctly. I have made if you go into the unofficial manual and in the community made guides section, there is a guide I made called Quick Color Map, which should explain this part in detail. How you can do color map, the code you need for it, and where to put it, and other details regarding color map. We will tackle color map properly in the intermediate section of the course, the tutorials. Otherwise, you can just reference the guide if you don't want to listen to my voice. Another important thing when picking up the colors for your character is to never use pure white. So you see in this case, Tester uses not pure white, but this white here. Well, pure white is generally not advised because it can clash with some things related to workshop, like hit effects. A character can have, at maximum, 32 alts. So you can just add them here like this, or if you want, you can actually store more than 32 alts in terms of data, but they won't display in game. Even though you maybe set the value higher, it won't actually display. If you want, you can go here and increase it, so you can add a 33rd, but it won't work. It'll just be a way to store extra data if you want it. Well, that should be all for this lesson. Next time, we will tackle character compatibilities. See you then.